Heidi, welcome.
Hello, Colin.
The top 20 questions for Fast ForWord. How do I know that Fast ForWord is actually going to be suitable for my child?
I'd need to ask you a few more questions. Firstly, the age of your child is important. We have modules for younger children and older children, and any specific concerns you have, and that will help us to determine which is the best module for them to start on.
Mm-hmm. What about the context? Does it matter where my kid goes to school or anything like that? Is that important?
No, we have the program available online, so it doesn't matter where you're located, you can work on the exercises, which makes it flexible. The data comes to us as well for monitoring, so it's really quick and easy to use.
A lot of software programs will give you a free trial period or a demo. Is the same available for Fast ForWord?
Look, we do have a demo of the various exercises in each module. That will give you a good feel for the content and the graphics. You'll see the characters are really bright and colourful, and it will just give you a sample. It's obviously far more involved, but it will give you a good idea of what to expect.
I guess everyone's going to want to know pretty early on how much it's going to cost. Can you give us an idea of cost?
Yes. Look, you're actually paying for program usage, so time.
So it's a subscription?
Months. It is. We work on a 3-month subscription period. We choose 3 months because on average it takes about 6 weeks to complete one module, and there are 2 core modules that children work on initially. So the 3 months is $750. We tend to discuss at the end of the 3 months how your child has responded, the progress that was made, and then you have the option of continuing monthly, so you don't have to purchase another 3-month block, and that's $250 a month.
So 3 months, are we talking about 3 months every day?
No, but nearly. It is a big commitment time-wise, 5 days a week. Now for younger children it's 30 minutes a day, but from primary onwards it's 50 minutes a day. Now you can use the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and then 3 days during the week if that makes it easier. Compliance is really important to get the maximum benefit of the program.
So what if you've got some really super keen kid that just wants to do it every day? Is that okay?
No. The brain actually needs time to digest all this new information. It's working hard, and just time to rest as well. Just like we really wouldn't want to work 3 months, 7 days a week. So that's the same for a child. We don't want them to get overtired and overwhelmed with it. Okay,
so 5 days a week, I suppose that also then applies to the time on each of those days. So you wouldn't want to be doing 45 minutes or an hour. You stick pretty close?
It's a set time. Your child will always do either the 30-minute or 50-minute protocol. It's all worked out for you, so you don't have to actually time anything. You start on one exercise. When the time's up, it will just stop on its own. And at that point, you can actually have a little break if you need to go to the bathroom or have a drink, and come back to the exercise at a later time. So you can split up the exercises, and that works well for children with attention problems that perhaps can't focus for longer than 10 minutes at a time.
Okay, so you've hit me with the time commitment and the cost. Some people might freak out about that. What are the alternatives? Why is this product unique?
Well, it's used internationally by over 4 million students worldwide. It's had over 30 years of scientific research, and it's unique because it works on many different areas at the same time. So it's not just a reading program or just a maths program. So it works by, strengthening the language and literacy skills, but at the same time, the 4 key cognitive areas. So that's memory, attention, processing and sequencing. And you need all of that working together for effective learning.
So my child is doing Fast ForWord. Do they need assistance? Do I have to sit with my child for the whole time while they're doing this?
It depends on the age of the child. Obviously, a younger child, definitely to begin with, just to make sure that the child knows the concept of each of the exercises. It's also important to sit with the child for encouragement and support along the way. A lot of praise, for the hard work they're doing is important. Once they're familiar in a routine, you probably don't have to sit the whole 50 minutes, and they'll have their favourite exercises and they'll be fine with those, but perhaps in a couple of the exercises where they're finding some of the concepts more challenging, that is where you could assist.
So you mentioned the idea of routine and getting used to the whole program. Is it possible to start seeing results as we go through, or is it something that you only see at the end?
No, that varies from child to child. Every child's very different and has different needs. They all start at a different level and work at a different pace. So, we've had feedback from parents that see changes within a few weeks. They may only be subtle, but they notice changes. For others, it can be quite dramatic, almost life-changing.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you may not see the benefits for a few months or even 6 months down the track.
And what are the likely ways that you would see the change? Is it obvious? Is it in the way they talk? Is it the way they understand you? How does that work?
Again, that varies from child to child. It could be you'll notice they just engage in conversation more, or their reading has become more fluent. There may be behavioural changes as well. They may be able to just follow, directions. They may be able to concentrate better. The teacher may even notice changes in the classroom too.
So let's say we're well into the program and we come across a few problems. Is the program well supported? Can we contact you?
Absolutely. We have a great support team. We usually contact parents if we notice they're struggling the child is struggling in a particular area. We can provide suggestions and intervention help for that. But if you have a problem at any time, you can call or email us, and that may be a technical problem or just a program question. And of course, we always let you know when your child's ready to advance to another module.
Okay, let me try you out on this problem then. Let's say I'm going on holidays, or I get really sick, or I have to go away on a school camp or something like that. How would I, as the learner, stay in touch with the program? Is that a problem?
Well, first of all, now that the program is online, unless you're camping in the middle of the wilderness somewhere, you should have access to internet. So most of the time you'll be able to continue doing the exercises while you're on holidays. Now, obviously that's not going to be possible in a school camp situation. So yes, it's okay if your child misses a few days here and there. Compliance is important to get the maximum benefit, but there are going to be days due to sickness or those sort of things that, you will miss a few days, but you have paid for a continuous period of time, so we do try and stick to that as much as possible.
So let's say the child has been going through the program, they get to the end of the 3-month subscription. What happens after that? Do they need another assessment? How does it work?
You don't actually need an assessment. Anyone can benefit from Fast ForWord. So we would look at your child's progress. Now, sometimes there is the opportunity to go on to a reading module. It's a good way to follow up with the core foundation program. The characters and content are very different, so children often enjoy this new challenge in the reading module. If your child's been working really hard over the 3-month period, they'd probably benefit from a break, but you can always come back to it at a later date.
You mentioned a little bit about the characters and the students enjoying it. Have you ever had people get bored of it? I mean, is it an engaging thing to do? Is it like a game or something like that?
Look, they've obviously tried to make it as entertaining as possible. Children generally enjoy trying to beat their personal best score, and that's a great motivation for them. Obviously, the exercises that are not too challenging for them, they'll move through quickly, and they're probably the ones they enjoy the most. There will be some that are their least favourite because they are more difficult for them, but it's through the repetition that will move them through the levels more quickly.
So let's say my child starts to do this program, and then after a week or two they go, no, I'm just not doing this, and they just refuse.
Okay, you'll have to use bribery then.
Okay, so do I have any other options?
Look, just a lot of encouragement and praise. Tell them that this is making their brain fit. It will help them to learn, and process information more easily at school. That in the greater scheme of things, 3 or 4 months is a fairly short period of time. And we recommend you use, sticker charts or work towards a goal. Work that out with your child, and then once they've achieved that goal, make sure they're rewarded for it. But just encouragement, and if the more you can make them comply and help them through, the program does the rest. The program will do its job.
Is it hard to get started? How do I pay, and how does all that work?
That's the easy part.
Oh, okay, good.
We just need your credit card.
Great.
Yes, just payment over the phone. You can also direct deposit. Once payment is received, we email you with all the information you need for getting started, and that includes your login, your username and password. We also suggest you perhaps have a little play in the demo mode before you start on the exercises, just so your child's familiar with the various exercises, and then you're ready to go. So you can start the same day if you want to.
What about healthcare rebates? Is it applicable?
You can't claim from Medicare or your private health fund. If your child is entitled to tax benefit Part A, you can claim under educational software at the end of the financial year, but you'd have to make sure you're covered for that. But your accountant would be able to help you there.
So Heidi, some people might ask about research, and for example, has there been any research coming out of how Fast ForWord has been used in Australian schools?
Right.
Some people like to ask those kinds of questions. What
yes,
could you say to that?
It's a very good question and a very important one. And there's no one quite like Peter who can answer that for you.
Okay. So we'll invite him in, shall we?
Yes, please do.
Okay, great. So Peter, we were just talking to Heidi about research, and apparently you're the guy to talk to. What can you tell us?
Well, so Heidi says, so I'll tell you. Yes, there's Australian research. Most of the research in Fast ForWord has been done in the USA because that's where the program originated. But there's been a number of research studies done in Australia and New Zealand. The largest one of those was done in West Australia in a group of public schools in West Australia where about 140 students did Fast ForWord in a controlled test where they randomly selected the students and put them through Fast ForWord, and they pre-tested them on language and reading skills, and then they post-tested them on language and reading skills, and they compared them with a group of students who just attended school normally, and the results were significantly impressive from Fast ForWord, so much so that one of the principals of the schools involved said in 40 years of teaching he'd never seen the results that were achieved from Fast ForWord in just a couple of months of use.
Well, that's pretty convincing, isn't it?
Yeah.
What about the eastern states? Anything from New South Wales, Victoria?
There's a private school in Victoria that's done quite an extensive study and actually found that as well as the children who were behind at school getting great benefit, the students who were high achievers in the school, after doing Fast ForWord, even achieved higher results in their exams and in the NAPLAN tests.
So could we suggest then that it's not necessarily just about treating disorders, but just improving people generally?
It does, because it works on cognitive thinking skills, memory, attention, the speed at which the brain processes, and the ability to sequence sounds, which is an important, all those things are important skills for learning and reading, and as well as working on language skills. So yes, it can benefit people who are at all levels of academic and language and reading achievement.
Peter, thanks for popping into the conversation. We'll go back to Heidi. Well, I guess lastly, what I'd like to ask you is, it's an American program, and it's got an American accent with the program talking to you. Is that a problem for Australian kids?
No, it's not. The exercises mostly target discriminating initial and ending consonants and phoneme blends. So the accent is in the vowel sound. So we find that it does not have an impact on the outcome of the program at all. Children are also quite used to hearing the American accent through media.
I was just going to say, I mean, it's not like it's an uncommon accent.
That's right. So out of the 12,000 odd words, there might be about 20 that are typically American, many of which children would know anyway, but because they're repeating the exercises daily, once they've heard it 2 or 3 times, they just adapt and it's fine.
Heidi, thanks very much for your time.
It's been a pleasure.